Hello, everyone. Welcome to my session on practical steps to enhance personal cybersecurity on behalf of the Cyber Jagrukta Diwas, June 2023. This event is organized by the Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University. I am Geetanjali and I am from Ramaiah Institute of Technology. And I'll be taking you through a couple of things that are very, very important on understanding or getting a rough knowledge on what your personal data must be kept personal as, or some data that you must never at all leak. And when you're talking about leaking of the data, what could come under the jurisdiction of the cyberspace and what is considered something very personal that cannot go out. Now, when you're talking about cybersecurity, you're talking about something called as cyber, right? So the cyber, it has a boundary, it has a space. Now, when we are talking about cyberspace, we are going to tell this it is a concept of a recent origin that has been evolving every day because we have the technology that is getting developed so sophisticatedly, and many of us think that cybersecurity or the cyberspace or cyber is something that is related only to the software platform. It's not just a software platform, it is as well as the hardware devices that are in the latest trends that are connected to any form of technology. But we always need to understand that this nature of the cyberspace, this is very challenged. Reason being that there is a traditional notion of jurisdiction, right? Because as law students, you will all know that there is a jurisdiction for everything. So, because we have court all over the world, the one of the biggest challenge we have is the traditional notion of this jurisdiction of court world over. Now, when we're talking about jurisdiction, I'm sure all of you know this is a process in which the power of the state is to regulate the conduct of its subjects by its legislations or injunctions, and it could be even the enforcements that we are going to get in. Now, when I'm talking about this cybersecurity jurisdiction or jurisdiction in the cyberspace, I would say it in very simple terms. Now, these are certain external extension of certain principles that in international jurisdiction into the cyberspace. So, when we are talking about the normal, what do you call your court terms or your law terms, we talk about every state or in every region having its own set of laws that has to be about. Or when we talk about it at national level, we all have to abide by the Indian Penal Code. But then we have certain what you call a landscape of it's got a boundary, right? But when we come to cybersecurity or the cyberspace, it's got no boundary. It's not physical. There is no physical boundary itself. So it's an ever growing exponential and a dynamic space. Reason being, as long as your technology keeps improving or it is getting built or improvised, simultaneously at a multifold level, we have a cyber crook who's trying to come and destroy things, right? So for that, we need certain cyberspace, a certain cyber jurisdiction. What happens is that as and when there is a what do you call there is a growth with the cyberspace, there is also a growth with the crook. So what happens is that the jurisdiction automatically needs to be empowered with certain new concepts or certain new codes or the penal codes that need to come in. So, as I said, there is no cyberspace, the cyberspace has no physical boundaries. There is an ever growing exponential and a dynamic space. Now, why is this coming into picture again? As I said, technology grows. At a point when we had to go physically to the store and buy things, then it became you got to just get connected to a website and then you surf. But now it's in a palm. It's over the phone, right? Just click of a mouse. For example, many of us will say, "What is your name? What is your nickname?" Might be several of questions that we get. When we are saying nickname, we might just say, yeah, Tinky, Pinky, Robbie. We give all these kinds of names, right? Whatever we are called at home. Even this is also something that we are actually selling to the outside world. Reason being, maybe there might be a person who is try to hack into your system, and you would have given your security question to be what is the nickname that you had as a child, or what is the pet name that they call you at home. It could be a simple Pinky, or it could be a simple Krishna, or it could be a simple Rose. Might be one of this was a pet name, and this pet name was a security question which we would have forgotten because we registered through so many apps, so many websites, right? Just getting into one of the website will really try to reach us to a level where most of our other website is also getting compromised. It's an act of being vulnerable or susceptible to certain crooks. Now, why this question again comes? Reason being, when we go to the website, we also have the terms of service agreement. How many of us read it? There are certain privacy policies, certain disclaimers. How many of us read it? We just say we don't have time and we just click and move on. And one of it could be where I can sell your personal or security question information that you have passed. In some corner, I would have just given a Pinky or a Tinky or a Rinku or whatever was the name, pet name. But over here, I'm not reading any of the terms of service, or I'm not reading any of the agreement. This is also a way in which our data can go out. You need not give the name, but as a cybersecurity question or a security question, you would have given a name. This also is a possibility for your data to be leaked. So the reason why this topic comes is that any information you are giving away, knowing or unknowingly, might help you get into trouble very easily. So when I'm using this word help you to get into trouble, this is again a word which says that be cautious. Be cautious when you're reading anything on the net, when you're giving away any kind of an information, because this has no boundaries. Anybody from anywhere in the world can come and attack. Maybe there's a person who's sitting in Chennai, and it need not be that somebody has to physically come and take away your password. That person can sit in the US or in the UK or in Hong Kong, or can even sit in Antarctica. All they need to know is certain informations about you, certain informations that will help them understand or get into your cyber world, your world of Facebook, Instagram, your email, your even watches. Even this watch is susceptible or it is vulnerable, right? I'm not talking about the brand, but I'm talking about the smartwatches that we have. Even data that we are giving away to our smartwatches. Everything was in the palm, but now everything comes to the wrist in form of a small box, right? Even this is information. This watch, the smartwatches are linked to our phones are linked to our laptops, or it is linked to our computers. So imagine just one information that I might not even want to give gets in there. My heartbeat, right? I need not come and tell you what is the rate of my heartbeat. But what happens is that the moment this device is there, this device is capturing my heartbeat, and this heartbeat is getting sent to my my phone, and through my phone it is going into the internet. So I like it or not, I'm giving away a lot of information, right? So what happens is that when I'm trying to give away information, I'm not knowing it, and when I do not know it, and when I just give away informations like that, tomorrow anybody can catch hold of my data and try to come against me. So is this a cyberspace offense then? So can I say any offense that is created against a person, will that be called as a cyberspace offense then? Yes. Either this activity is committed against the integrity or availability and the confidentiality of a system. Initially, we used to say only computer system, but this is no more going to be a computer system because we have a lot of electronic gadgets that are there around us. Itself is becoming a system on its own, right? And is it only the internet through which the cyber issues can happen? No, it can even happen through the telecom, right? Through the telecom networks, because there are a lot of use of services in the networks, and there are a lot of networks to commit traditional offenses that has been happening. So might be one may find oneself in a legal quagmire. So I can say that a cyberspace offense is not only related to the system, computer system, it is also related to any form of an electronic gadget that is connected to us or any form of a telecom network through which the offense can happen. So this is called as legal quagmire. Okay, and this word is a little tough, but then I think as law students you might want to know this. This is called as legal quagmire. Okay, now comes the next part. The question is not only about multiple jurisdiction. We have a lot of court, all that is fine. But then what about the procedural law that we are going to get connected with for the information technology? Because any kind of a cyber offense is by default an information technology offense, right? So is there any procedural law that is connected? Maybe, yeah, we will definitely address this. Maybe after some time, as we go through, I'll definitely address this. Uh, Certain times what happens is that there will be a requirement. We will have to have a broad based conversation that we are going to deal with the criminal uh, who has put his hand on a new law matter. Certain criminal procedural questions as well needs to be known, because within our boundary of India, we might have a law, but what at an international criminal law procedure and agreements? Where do we go? So we need to have basically a broad based conversations. Okay, like how you're going to deal with a criminal of a substantive law matter, or a criminal who has created an offense which is an offense in India and might not be an offense in the outside world. So this again is another question mark for us when we are coming to this procedural law that is connected. So there are certain heres and theres as well, right? But then why are we talking about the concept of jurisdiction? Reason being, you need to know this as a very basic understanding before you get into what is cyber law, or what happens, or are there any IPC sections that are there, or any governing bodies that are there to handle this or deal this, right? What happens? We have the authority at a court. They're going to hear the case, they're going to resolve the dispute involving the person or the property or the subject matter that is being referred to the jurisdiction of the court. So we have a legislative function of the co-government that's going to enact the laws, or the judicial administrative functions to enforce those laws. So basically this is how this jurisdiction came into picture. But then, are there any tests to determine the jurisdiction? Like your minimum contacts theory, where both of the parties are from outside the court's territorial jurisdiction. What happens? All this comes under the normal law, but this will not come under the cyber law, right? Because when it comes to cyber law, as we said, we do not have this boundary. We need to come out of this boundary, right? So we will not have a jurisdiction. This world or this era is called as the internet jurisdiction. In the pre-internet period, we had these personal jurisdiction where you understood the terms of the territory. Then the physical presence theory was coming into picture with the help of the service within the jurisdiction. And then when the cyberspace came in, we had the computer, network, software, data storage devices, and all that coming into picture, right? When one is online, okay, one is almost everywhere, right? So the traditional interpretations spelled its limitations, be it subject matter related or territorial related in the internet age. It means it is earthwide. As a single act of the net, uh, it is the workplay of several participants as they are the website owners, the online intermediaries, the host, the author, or the creator of their piece of writing or painting, the corporate, the end users, so many of them go on the single act, right? So, hence, we have a single infraction or a wrong may involve or someone of these. And again, in the nature of net goes, it is quite possible that all of us come from various countries and hence various jurisdictions. In such a case, what will happen is that even if one applies the traditional principles of the jurisdictions, some of these may fall into different jurisdictions because by the virtue of subject matter jurisdiction, and some may fall under yet another jurisdiction due to personal jurisdiction. And this is the reason I know there is a lot of times I'm using this word jurisdiction. The reason being, this was the lead to the birth of the law of cyberspace. Because we had this entire jurisdiction problem. You're coming from this place, you're coming from that place, we had coming on the internet. All that happened. But we needed a law on ourselves, right? So that is the reason we came up, the birth of the law of cyberspace started. So over here, this is basically based on private contracting on a global basis. And it is enforced by a combination of sysops, that is nothing but system operators. They have the ultimate right to banish any unruly users and the user's ultimate right to migrate to other online service providers such as the ISP, right? So what happens over here? So now there's already a law that is in place. But the question arises now that you know how this birth happened. But the question evidently arises. How can I enhance my personal cybersecurity? Though we have a lot in place already with us. How can I enhance my personal cybersecurity is the topic of today. So what is going to happen is that a person logs in or a large number of people log in together, probably let's say into one of the system, let's say Facebook or Instagram. It takes seconds for a person's to or for a person to compromise multiple other users. You just need one go. We saw that duplication also that is happening in Facebook. We say that our Instagram accounts have been hacked. Why is this happening? One reason is because we are allowing the people whom we don't know to enter into our space. Second, how do we overcome this? One, we might want to give a strong and a unique password. Second, the password complexity and the length definitely matters. Third, we have password managers. The fourth point is going to be the two-factor authentication. Sometime back I was talking about, there are websites and people try to log in, their accounts get compromised or get vulnerable. Vulnerable means which is easily be getting compromised. That is called as vulnerability. For every 55 organizations, 15 of the organizations were easily being compromised because they were easily able to access their personal data. How was this happening? Because certain sensitive information, which includes even the finance information, all these data or certain website informations, they were present in the physical location history, right? So what happens is that it is easy for them to pick it up. Some of them, what will happen is that when there is a honeypot or a trap, that's part of the information security, there's something called as a honeypot. So when somebody is connected to the network, for hackers or for people not to come and get into your network, there's a honeypot or a trap that is created. When this trap is getting created, what happens is that these hackers get into it. The moment they get into it, they check that, yeah, they have got into a trap after a long time. So they get really angry and they want to come out at a point where, they hit back the organization very hard. So when this anger comes in, as always, the law of nature says, the weak gets hurt first, right? So always have a strong and a unique password. Never have your date of birth, your phone number, your address, or your favorite actor, actress, your best friend's name, your partner's name. Never have that. Always have a unique password and ensure that you use your caps, your normal case, the numbers, the special characters, have a combination of it. Okay, and this has to be strong and a unique password, and never repeat your passwords, because one password you have, it is easy for them to try it on various accounts that you're linked with or various websites you're linked with. So ensure that they are always strong and always unique. And then you can go to the complexity that I said. You can use your caps, you can have small letters, you can have your numbers, you can have special characters attached to it. And ensure that you have certain password managers, because you need not remember every time, right? Ensure you have that, because that automatically generates a password for you. And having two-factor authentication is always good. Now, what happens? Why is our data again vulnerable? And there are data leaks that happen, right? Why? Why is your personal data getting leaked so very often? Because we are not having we are having inadequate security measures. And how can you enhance it? We have our system security that is there. Why don't we apply? We might have one of the most sophisticated, or what do you call, one of the best laptops, but you know where we'll fail? While we have to upgrade, or well, we have to buy a security for the system. We try to be very liberal with it, and we say nothing will happen to my system, go away, don't clear the browsing history, have weak passwords, share your passwords with friends, have passwords that is going to have a very common name or a very common password, give it away to the people around us, do not log out our system, just keep our accounts always logged in. So these are certain vulnerabilities that can cause your data leak or have a data attack. So what happens is that at a personal level, this is fine. But remember, you will all be working for an organization, or you will have your own firm. See, Instagram, or it could be any other social media, the password going, it's still, what do you call, this is at your personal level, right? But when you're working for an organization and your data gets leaked or your system is attacked, what happens is that you're working for an organization. It will become a reputational damage for your organization. So never be part of that system where you will be damaging the reputation of your organization. And ensure that you do not just fill forms just like that on behalf of your organization, because over there you will have a lot of clause that you do not read. So ensure that you take it through the proper channel. Always reach out to your information security team, because each project or each company's project will be having an information security team. Ensure that you go and reach out to them. Ensure that you always go and what do you call, confirm with them before you update any software, because there will be certain softwares, or which will have certain trojans or horses, where it will be running as a daemon process in your background, which you will not even know. There'll be nothing, because a certain process, it will run in the front, right in front of you in the system. There will be certain processes that run at the background. When it is running at the background, you will not be able to even go and understand that there's something running in, right? And that will start capturing all your information. So ensure that before you update anything, or any software that is related to your system, reach out to your information security system, and they will be the people who will help you to understand whether certain upgradation can happen. Reaching out to a system A is equal to immediately spreading the virus or reaching out to multiple other systems within the network, because you will be within the network. I know this has been a very small session, but I also hope that you are aware now of what can be done by you and what should not be done by you. So I thank the college management for giving me this opportunity. So, on the whole, to brief it quick, if you do not know what you're doing, do not go and touch it. If you need to have certain unique features or unique password, ensure you have it for everything, not only for what you need. Any password you give should be strong and unique. When you do not know something, go to the right team. Okay. And last but not the least, know your penal codes, which is very, very, very important, because once you are unaware of your penal codes, you will be into a lot of trouble. Because even as lawyers tomorrow, when you're fighting, you need to know what are your important penal codes, which are which is respect to cyber law. The section 43, when somebody is going to damage the computer system without the permission from the owner, there can be full compensations that can be claimed for the entire damage in certain cases. And when you're talking about damage of the computer, it can be physical as well as it can be within the system by damaging the software. Hardware and software both will come into picture. Section 66, when there is a fraudulent that has been committed or when there is a dishonesty found. So this is a very, very, very common section, section 66. Then you have section 66b, where you're stealing information from the device. It could be any electronic device that is connected to the system. So this can be, I think it goes up to 3 years, the punishment with 1 lakh fine. For section 66, it is going to be 5 lakhs of fine and up to 3 years of jail sentence. 66B will be 1 lakh fine with 1 year of jail sentence. Then you have section 66C, which is going to be where the thefts are related to certain imposters' digital signature or hacking passwords. Fine is 1 lakh and imprisonment can go up to 3 years. Then section 66D, where it basically focuses on punishing the cheaters who are doing impersonations using the computer resources. So these are certain basic codes that you all have to be aware of. Okay, thank you everyone.